Hello, everyone. As I am recording this, today was August 17th, and we get the nice actual nationwide, not review, but nationwide premiere of Curious George 3 Back to the Jungle. So, let's do this, shall we? Well, first things first, is very big surprise is that Universal and Miramax actually still had their hand in it. Unlike previous ones where you know what happens with sequels. It happened with Open Season 2 and 3. Just the fact of where it's like it got downgraded. The people who voiced them didn't do it anymore. They got cheaper people to do it. Well, one thing to note is just the fact of the narrator was not even in this movie, which I bet chances are the narrator wasn't in the first movie or the second movie. So that's one thing just to note. But anyways, so this is going to be a nice recap slash review. Anyways, one thing that you should note is that this movie wants to teach kids caution. What caution means. So, besides that, we fast forward and we go to George is in space. Mission successful. And then you have Mr. Howard, which is one person I should definitely talk about. But I'm going to talk about him in the end or so. But yeah, you have Mr. Howard and you have Andrew, who are, well, technically it was Mr. Howard, who was like, what's the worst thing that could happen? Which George actually was playing around with the water spritzer. And the water spritzer, water plus electricity equals what? Yeah, like nothing can happen. Something did happen. The water short circuited the systems, whatever, and that made him crash in Africa, which makes sense of I kind of figured that's how he would return to Africa if they were talking about space missions. So, and apparently, yeah, so they actually went to Africa to retrieve him, and the yellow man in the yellow hat actually went to a guy, and he's like, "No, the person who flies is out today." And he's like, "Oh crap!" Because he was wearing a badge from NASA. He was like, "Oh crap! You're an astronaut. You can fly this thing. Anyone, you guys can fly it." So apparently, astronauts, they can fly any flight vehicle. That is interesting. I bet that's not even true, but whatever. Well, anyways, George is enjoying himself, getting into a rhythm session. So he actually got a rhythm session out there in the jungle because, hey, in Africa, rhythm is a big deal. So apparently, the yellow man in yellow hat actually crashed the plane, but didn't crash it too badly. Yeah, so he crashed it, but he didn't crash it so badly as I thought while watching. So the jungle is no place for a monkey. That's what he said. The jungle is no place for a monkey. I'm like, what? That's where you found him in the first place, man. Well, anyways, so the man in the yellow hat is having a hard time out there in the jungle, while George is enjoying himself. And he actually saved a baby rhino from quicksand. And of course, Mama Rhino was truly grateful for that. That was a sad scene right there. That was very sad, but of course, I'm glad they actually made it a nice positive in the movie. That was nice. So George gets the rest from a good day, while the man in yellow hat gets the rest from a rough day. Funny that it would be so funny. It turns out that they were actually sleeping under the same tree. Well, technically, George will be sleeping on the branch of the tree, while you have the man in yellow hat sleeping downstairs. And then you have this awesome thing that happened with Mr. Houston. The fact of he was talking into the hot dog and he was spraying mustard on his walkie-talkie, or vice versa. So it's like, wow, dude, wow. That was kind of funny to put in there. And anyways, it was a big no way in the beginning of the morning, the next day. The fact that the man in yellow hat is getting cuddled by a leopard. Oh my freaking god. Oh my god. I would be freaking out a little bit. I would be freaking out saying, oh my gosh. Well, first things first I would do is most likely take a picture of me with the leopard. So I can say, yeah, look at me. I'm in the jungle. I'm not scared. I'm even actually cuddled by a leopard. I'm not scared at all. And then I've got to take the picture. I'm like, oh God, I got to get that freak out of here. He's going to kill me. And you would wonder how the freak did the leopard actually was okay with that. But of course he's wearing yellow, so I guess that's one reason of why he actually cuddled next to the man in the yellow hat. Shut up, you. Well, anyways, George is enjoying his morning. and he popped the brown bag with his food in there, which made the freaking giraffes go on a stampede. Well, actually, the giraffes caused a stampede and everyone else joined in. Zebras, elephants, and because of that stampede, well, Man in the Yellow Hat was having a rough start too. And stampede happened. And he's like, "Oh crap!" But when he lifted his hands up, there was George right there. Good catch. Well, anyways, there's one part where I'm like, wait, but the right thing. I don't know what I meant on that one. Next is a bird took his freaking suit. Oh boy. So the man in the yellow hat took off the spacesuit and just threw it away. So a bird actually took the suit and now he's flying, which I'm like, oh crap, the search is going to send him on a wild goose chase. I thought he actually still had a tracer on the suit as well, but apparently not. They were just going by hunches and what they heard, which you'll hear in a minute. Well, anyways, George is curious and he plays in a gourd patch. Again, caution is thrown out again, saying, oh, you need to be cautious and everything. So anyways, George again wanders off and he wanders with the elephant, and George tries to get the man in the yellow hat to ride the elephant because at least it would be not something that wouldn't make him tired. That's one good idea from George. But instead, the man in the yellow hat was like, no, you gotta be cautious, you gotta do what I say. And he insults the elephant, which the elephant knew he's actually insulted him, and he sprayed him. He actually gave him a nice shower. That was a good one. It's like, yeah, don't insult elephants. Have you not learned from Temple of Doom? Anyways, now he isn't looking where he's going and almost stepped on a snake, but thank goodness George was there. George again wanders off. The man in the yellow hat gets so furious, as if a parent, and now he's ranting as if he's a parent. And yep, as soon as you did all that, now your foot set off a trap. He's like, I'm putting my foot down, and now he set off a trap. So we meet Seymour the gorilla and Dr. African Scientist Worker Lady, aka Kolinda, aka Naja. Yeah, Naja. So, yeah, apparently she runs a wildlife reserve and she actually is protecting the place from poachers. And coincidentally, she thinks that he's a poacher. And I'm like, okay, one thing I know about poachers is that poachers have freaking damn stuff on them. They're actually equipped. Number two, poachers stand out. Yeah, in a yellow outfit like that, I'm like, yeah, you stand out. Poachers will most likely have some cool colors so that they're able to actually cloak themselves if in danger. As for freaking Man in the Yellow Hat, anyone could actually attack him because he stands out in the jungle. So there is some bad writing right there. No, yeah, this is a kid's movie, so I can understand that, but I'm just saying in a way of thought, technically, yeah. Well, anyways, so there's a big misunderstanding to happen. The doc is just doing whatever she wants, thinking he's a poacher. Oh yeah, I already said that. But anyway, so the man in the yellow hat is finally apologetic to George when they're actually now in the treehouse. And he's doing that while tied up, and Seymour is grooming him, which is kind of funny. Anyways, George, of course, like always, forgives him and hugs him. And then Seymour hugs them both, which is like, oh, that's so sweet. So apparently the phones are out of order. It's because of the rocket. Wow, that's crazy. So George is having fun with an ostrich whose name's Stretch, and they begin to marvel at the fact of he actually is the monkey astronaut they heard about. And the side note is that they said with a bozo wearing yellow. It's like, oh, jeez, man, jeez, that is a big diss. But anyways, so you have Mr. Houston and Andrew flying. Sadly, Houston didn't believe that George could actually make it that far into the wildlife reserve, but thank goodness Andrew talked him into it. There's some small talk, and then Mr. Houston actually is very close to the wildlife reserve, but then he hears from one of his team saying a small village actually has seen a monkey astronaut, and he flew away. That is total crap. That is sad. I would have preferred he would have been like, you know what, just for the heck of it, and it seems like you actually were into it. Let's just have a little moment where we actually go to the treehouse. That's what I would have been like. It's like, well, you wanted to see the treehouse so badly, let's just go there and check it out. Which they would have been like, all right, well, we found yours, hey! But instead, they went to the small village. Well, anyways, Man in Yellow's upset that they left and they stranded there, but Colinda actually wants him to see the reserve, and Stretch actually hitches a ride and come with as well. So one thing that was interesting is that the baby rhino who he saved actually greeted him and greeted George, while the mom rhino greeted the Man in Yellow Hat. So by the end of it, the Man in Yellow Hat actually got his mind expanded. Just the fact of he was able to actually enjoy the wildlife reserve, enjoy nature, enjoy the jungle. Sadly, I didn't see the first movie, and yeah, that's like a big oh my gosh. But I didn't really know it in the first movie what happened. I mean, I saw like a little glimpse of it, but on the other hand, I don't know if while in that jungle he actually was like, oh, this, oh, that. So I don't really know if he actually was like, I want to go home that fast. Anyways, so the antenna on the dam is knocked off, which that's the real reason why they can't call anyone. And the RDS apparently goes there in the antenna. So at first I thought, oh crap, the RDS, where the heck is it? Is it on a suit or something? But it turns out that the RDS was actually left in the ship, which that's a thank goodness. So George actually wants to finish the mission now. And we actually get the side note of what happens at a small village. It's kind of funny that Mr. Houston like say it in their language, and they're like, "We speak English." It's like, and then they showed up. They point at a tree with the monkey suit, the astronaut monkey, and it turns out it's just another monkey in his suit, which is like, wow. Anyways, so we find out that there's a Category 5 storm coming, which that is very bad. I know storms, and that is truly bad. So George is hammering the sunroof down, and that woke up the Man in Yellow Hat. And now George tries to convince the Man in Yellow Hat to say yes to getting the RDS. Yeah, retrieving it. So yeah, you have the map, which the map, he kept the map and kept hold of it and everything. But anyways, yeah, the map, I thought the map was going to fly away, but thank goodness it didn't. Stretch became a stowaway and actually was aboard. Well, anyways, so you have this crazy driving route, and Noah, well, Colinda's arc, she's now creating a place where all the animals can actually be safe in, because, well, this storm is going to be very brutal and cause lots of flooding. So that's why she actually got all the animals in her treehouse. So they're close to the capsule. Stretch is wary about that rickety bridge over there. And yeah, that's a really rickety bridge. But they made it through, thank goodness. Except for Stretch, who actually stayed behind. So Man in Yellow Hat is very adventurous, but he forgot to heed his warning of being cautious and stepped on an alligator or crocodile. I forgot what is the difference. Well, actually, I would say crocodile. No, crocodile's actually able to go on land and go on sea. So that means go in a river. So that means that had to be an alligator, because the crocodile could have easily just caused more trouble, but he didn't actually get out, so it's alligator. So anyways, they made it to the capsule. The RDS is still there, and also a phone. But oh good lord, lion cubs! And George gave them water. And like what Man in Yellow Hat said, if there is a lion cubs, chances are the parent is nearby. And there is the man. Oh crap. And George gave him water too. He just splashed water in it and gave him water too. Then the lion started to follow them. And then you get back to the bridge, and of course Stretch freaks out. The lion tries after those two made it, but sadly the bridge was too messed up to actually allow the lion to pass. But thank goodness George and the Man in Yellow Hat actually saved them by pulling, because the bridge was actually going lopsided now. But the lion's safe. Well, anyways, Yellow calls, Yeah, Yellow Man in Yellow Hat actually calls into Mr. Houston, but there's a delay of rescue. So instead, they decide to race to establish the RDS. I kind of missed a little part, but it turns out that a leopard actually stole the RDS and they were on hot pursuit. So Man in Yellow Hat got to have a ride with Stretch while George actually swung there. So after that, they actually found the leopard in a corner, but sadly, they couldn't do anything except when the lion they saved roared and scared the leopard, making the leopard drop the RDS, and now they have a log ride and they're letting Stretch go home. They went off course a little bit, but at least the good news is that they found the plane that the Man in Yellow Hat actually used. So, sadly, the plane is stuck. Yeah, that's the one thing that happened is that the plane actually got stuck. But thanks to George's rhythm session, it paid off because he was able to summon the animals. The animals were able to free the plane, and craziness, George gets to fly the plane due to wear and tear, thanks to the Man in the Yellow Hat. He has to hold on to some of the scrap so it won't actually fly off or anything. But of course, the part is still gone either way. Now they go to the antenna. Luckily, they made it to the antenna, and the Man in Yellow was piloting there and had to maneuver to get to a safe landing, and he did a good job. So the rain finally came and made the bar slippery, so George couldn't actually climb up there. At least the good news is that Stretch made it back home fine and nice and safe. George now has a challenge because now it's slippery, but they decided to be like, what I've been foreshadowing is to get the to get George with a kite up there so he's able to actually maneuver it himself, which he did. And one thing that happened was that mission accomplished. The project is called Stop Flooding. That wasn't creative. Yeah, and you give Fantastic Four crap for saying, "Oh, quantitary thing." Okay, I'll stop. But still, there was a good touching moment there where George and the Man in the Yellow Hat, and also there was a beautiful rainbow to match it. So in the end, George gets to have a hero medal, and so do Man in Yellow as well. Which is kind of funny is that George's is bigger than the Man in the Yellow. Well, anyways, they also get some gifts. Rocket boots. Oh. So now they get to have some awesome rocket boots to match. And at the end of the movie, which you see in the end credits, you have the Man in Yellow Hat actually showing Colinda the city. And of course, she brought Seymour as well and Stretch as well. It's kind of funny that he actually allowed Seymour to drive at one point. That was crazy. But there you go. There is the whole entire movie. So, the one thing I wanted to keep hidden is that the Man in the Yellow Hat actually has a name, which I think in the first movie you actually know he has a name, but I kind of forgot. But anyways, the Man in the Yellow Hat, his name is actually Ted. Wow. And if you haven't known, the person who played as Mr. Houston is actually voiced by John Goodman. And it takes a lot of money to get John Goodman to do anything these days, I bet. So, this movie was very, very good. I enjoyed it. It was one that wasn't a knockoff like thing just to get money. Instead, and also note, Curious George is actually supposed to be a educational TV show. So that means that they kind of, well, they didn't phone it in. That's the good news, is that they didn't phone it in. It was completely a good sequel. I don't know about the second movie, but this third movie was a good sequel. That was very, very good and very, very nice. So anyways, I would say go watch it if you can, and that's where you guys want to buy it. You know, you can buy it if you wish, but for me personally, I don't really care to buy it, but it still is a good movie to watch on a rainy day, or if you have no choice and SpongeBob is on completely, or heck, Uncle Grandpa and Steven Universe, anyone that actually is like, oh, we're just going to repeat crap. This is a good one to actually just run away to and just enjoy for an hour and a half. But anyways, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more movies.